Greetings to one and all. I'm Rishika Bhatia from the team The Feminists, and today I'll be speaking on the topic that humans should be the one to explore the surface of Mars. First of all, various reports have told that the Earth is in its final years, and in the following years, we are in the dire need of a plan B. And a plan B, which is our closest planet, is Mars, the red planet. So, it's not a question whether we should explore the surface of Mars or we should not. The only question over here is that who should explore the surface of Mars? Who should be the one to do this official and such a big duty? Should it be the robots or should it be the humans? What I feel like is that this duty would be performed the best by us human beings. And today in my speech, I'll be giving the reasons to support the same. First of all, when humans would explore the surface of Mars, it would help increase employment by generating more jobs. The most straightforward way why it would help in the generation of more jobs is that teams of human beings would be sent to explore the surface of Mars, and obviously these humans would be employed by the space agencies who would then send them to Mars. Other than this, human space exploration missions are quite complex, and this would require development and manufacturing of complex spacecrafts, habitats, space suits, life support systems, and advanced technology. These efforts would create jobs in engineering, research, development, and manufacturing. Other than this, we can't just send astronauts straight away to Mars without any training. So these space agencies would prepare and train them beforehand before sending them to Mars. This would be in the form of training programs including physical fitness, technical skills, and survival training. For this, they would establish special training centers and programs where they would employ trainers, educators, and support staff. Last but not the least reason why it would help increase employment is that once these astronauts are sent to space, they would need to be connected by the base, the Earth, who would be giving them all the updates at all times, and this would require ground control centers on the Earth itself, and these would be staffed and filled by engineers, scientists, and mission controllers who would monitor the spacecraft, monitor the workings of these astronauts who would be sent to Mars. These would also be the same people who would conduct experiments and ensure that the mission is a great success. Now coming to my second point why humans should be the one to explore the surface of Mars is that it would serve as inspiration for the youth. Remember how we all wanted to be an astronaut from a young age when we first saw Neil Armstrong on the cover page of our book. Now why was that? It was because we could connect to that guy. We saw him as a fellow human being. We saw him as a fellow being who visited the surface of moon. Now, would it have been the same if it was a robot instead of Neil Armstrong, a human being? No, it would not have been, because we wouldn't have been able to connect with that robot. So, long story short, young people, they get inspired by human astronauts and who go on space missions, and these serve as role models for aspiring scientists, engineers, and explorers. Space missions with humans also receive extensive media coverage. These include live broadcasts, documentaries of the astronauts, and social media updates. So this would also generate the youth's interest in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This field would have more enrollment by the aspiring scientists, like I mentioned before. So this is why inspiration is another factor why human beings should be the one to explore the surface of Mars instead of robots who would not serve as inspiration for the people. Coming to my third point, that is, reality is always better than the image. So when these human beings, they go on the surface of Mars, they would be able to collect a more broader and a more diverse range of samples such as rocks and soil. This is because they would be using their judgment to select the most promising samples, and this would increase the likelihood of discovering actual evidence that there is life on Mars. Robots, they are not well equipped at this point of time to actually recognize that this is the thing that requires research. This is an area of interest For this is a thing that the scientists who are there at the base, that that they would require. But human beings on the other page, they would be able to recognize these things, these areas of interest. Also, by sending straight away the geologists on the surface of Mars, they would be able to inspect the environment of Mars with their own eyes instead of the images like the robots would have provided. And this could provide them with real time analysis of rock formations and other features on the surface of Mars. They can see it with their eyes instead of images, and they can interact with the environment of Mars on their own. Coming to my next point, that is, human being is the supreme master. My question to you is, did humans create robots or did robots create humans? Of course, human beings were the ones who created the robots. So obviously they've got an upper hand over the robots. And technology is never said to be a master. It's always a servant. So human beings, they have a special thing that robots do not. They have the ability to handle unexpected situations and change decisions on the spot due to their capacity to real-time problem solving and adaptability. This is exactly why human beings should be the ones to discover and explore the surface of Mars instead of robots or somebody else, because they can change the decisions in case something goes wrong on the spot, God forbid. But they have the ability to solve the problems at that particular time, and they do not always have to be fed by the base on what other action to perform. So, long story short, these were all the reasons why human beings should be the one to explore the surface of Mars. Like I mentioned in the starting as well, exploration of Mars is something that is way too inevitable, and it is something that needs to be performed, especially at the given period of time. And this job would best be performed by human beings. Thank you.